look a whole lot different just about 1 hour from now, though. Big picture, big mess across the south, to say the least. As you can see, there is a broad area of thunderstorms, a huge line of storms stretching from just to the upstate South Carolina, stretching all the way back to Georgia. Intense line of storms. All those orange polygons you see are active severe thunderstorm warnings, and all those red polygons you see are active tornado warnings. Those are just outside of our area, but that proves that we do have at least some threat for tornadoes, with rotation being picked up on the radar over in Union County this morning, and then up into western parts of North Carolina, a couple of areas that are being watched for possible tornado development. Again, we do not have any active tornado warnings locally. We just have the numerous severe thunderstorm warnings. We have this separate one down here that includes western parts of Orangeburg County in effect until 9:15 this morning. It also includes eastern parts of Aiken County. Here, same threat, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, small hail, and a possible brief spin-up tornado. When we talk about the tornado threat within this line, it's kind of challenging to get a huge lead-up warning with this type of system. Typically, the tornadoes can kind of spin up almost out of nowhere and then don't last very long. They're typically on the weak side, but still can certainly cause damage. So that's why we're keeping you all updated. We do have a product on our radar called the rotation product. It gets kind of a zoomed in look at within these storms to see where there might be some rotation developing. Wherever you see that dark blue is where there's some modest rotation at this time in parts of Saluda County, in parts of Newberry County, and then up where that tornado warning is near Union is where they have the tornado warning at this time. Again, no signs of significant rotation at this moment, but we'll let you know if that changes. Another way we can look at rotation is by looking at the wind direction, or the wind speeds and directions of the rain that the radar is picking up. So green is the rain moving toward the radar located in Columbia. Red is away from the radar. So as you can see, whenever these reds and greens merge next to each other, that's when you can get some spin-ups to develop. An area that I'd be watching particularly is probably right around here in eastern parts of Saluda County for a possible brief spin-up tornado. Whenever you get that little notch in the line, that can be somewhere where that happens. So the near the Mount Willing area, again, no active tornado warning at this time, but there may be at least some rotation ongoing there at this moment. Again, our shear product, our rotation product, is picking up on that exact area right there. Not enough to warrant a tornado warning at this time from the National Weather Service, but certainly we'll let you know if that changes. And we're going to go ahead and stay on the air here for a little while just to keep you up to date on our severe weather situation to make sure you're all safe this morning. I know a lot of folks probably heading out to church this morning, and typically they ask you to turn off your phones. Personally, I'd recommend maybe you have those phones on this morning as an exception, just to make sure you're alerted about any possible tornado warnings issued for your area, and you can take action if there is one that is issued for your location. Please make sure you have a way to receive that warning information no matter where you are headed this morning, whether it's to church, maybe you're doing some shopping this morning. Just be weather aware these next few hours. That's going to be crucially important. We are streaming now on our Facebook, the Watch Fox Facebook. So if you want to watch us on your phone while you're out about doing things, we certainly will be here to keep you updated on the situation throughout the morning. And if you have any questions on there, I'm happy to answer those there as well. I've got it pulled up right here on my computer. Again, in the meantime, we do have a tornado watch that is in effect for the entire Midlands until 1 o'clock this afternoon. I do think the primary threat for tornadoes is going to be for the next 2 to 3 hours. So once we get closer to that noon hour, the worst of the storms are likely clearing out of our area at that point. At this hour, the worst of the storms are impacting upstate South Carolina and now moving into the western Midlands. Where you see those red polygons there in western North Carolina and upstate South Carolina is where we have active tornado warnings. That does not include anywhere in our particular area at this time, but we do have active severe thunderstorm warnings that basically go up and down this line across the entire state. So let's go region by region here. We have this large polygon that includes several counties: Lexington, Newberry, Richland, Saluda, Aiken County. All of you under this severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect until 9 o'clock this morning. Damaging straight line wind is the primary threat with this line of storms. You're going to certainly get heavy rainfall and gusty winds as this moves eastward, and it is getting closer to Lexington County right now. There also is that tag here, tornado possible. It's not a big enough threat for a tornado to warrant a tornado warning at this moment, but I am certainly keeping an eye on this area right here. You see that little notch? I'll go and circle it for you. Yeah, this right here is at least slightly concerning. You get a little notch in this line here. You can get some rotation to develop. That's just north of Batesburg, Leesville at this time. And another way we can get a look at that is by looking at the storm velocity or the winds within the storm. So we have a couple notches potentially here, one near Highway 378 right there, another one possibly right here. So we could get brief spin-up tornadoes within this line, including right around there. I think that's the area of greatest concern at the moment, and that is going to be heading into Lexington County here pretty soon. If we go back to the kind of classic radar picture, you can see where the actual rain is with that. Getting pretty close to Lake Murray at this moment. So heads up in Gilbert, Chapin. You're going to be impacted by this storm pretty soon. Newberry, you're getting the heavy downpours at this time. Again, gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour possible for you there. As we move farther south, Batesburg, Leesville, certainly in the midst of the heavy rain at the moment. That is also the case down in Aiken County, certainly affecting the I-20 corridor in Aiken County at this time. And that is going to be racing into Orangeburg County here within the next 20 to 30 minutes. I'll put another track on this as this line is racing quickly to the east. It's going to be a quick mover. So just for the next couple hours or so, here's a rough estimate of the timeline. Lexington roughly 8:49 this morning. Columbia right around 9:14. I think it actually could be a little sooner than that for us in Columbia, maybe closer to the top of the next hour at 9 o'clock. East side of town near Pontiac, 9:30ish. Then we get closer to Sumter County after that, maybe closer to the 10 o'clock hour or so. Just a rough estimate of the timeline of this line of storms that is definitely packing a punch this morning across much of South Carolina. All right, appreciate you all watching this morning on Watch Fox News. We are live on our television at this hour. We're going to stay with you for a little while this morning until the threat subsides. We are also on our Facebook page, Watch Fox News. We'll be happy to answer any questions you may have there, and we'll keep you safe here as long as this threat continues. I'm Chief Meteorologist Taylor Kanost, walking you through the threat here today, and we do have a tornado watch in place until 1 p.m. this afternoon for all of the Midlands. Everyone highlighted in yellow. This includes much of the state of South Carolina. This is a big system that's impacting much of the southeast U.S. this morning, so certainly some huge travel headaches all the way from North Carolina through South Carolina back toward Georgia and into Florida. Some big storms impacting folks there. If you have travel plans to head down to Orlando for the Citrus Bowl, you Gamecock fans, be safe. It's going to be a bumpy ride between here and Orlando throughout the day today. Certainly looks a lot calmer tomorrow if you do have travel plans to head down that direction at that point. But from now through this afternoon, it's going to be a rough go for travelers southbound on I-95 all the way down to Florida later this morning. All right, we do have a new tornado warning. Let's go ahead and zoom on in here. This is the area I was watching. This includes Lexington, Newberry, Richland, and Saluda counties. This is the area of rotation I was watching near Saluda County. The Weather Service has gone ahead and issued a tornado warning in effect until 8:45 this morning for those locations. This includes Chapin. You folks in Chapin watching this morning, get to your storm shelter, lowest level of the building you are in a room that does not have any windows. So the centralmost room, whether that's a bathroom, closet, anything like that, that's going to be your place to be at this time. Let's go ahead and get a look from the Weather Service to see. So they're just monitoring an area of rotation in far southern parts of Newberry County. So down our rotation product here, generally near and north of Highway 378 here, south of I-26, approaching Lake Murray right now. We have this general area of rotation somewhat rural parts of southern Newberry and northern parts of Saluda County right now, quickly approaching Lexington County at this time. In fact, about to cross into Lexington County. If you live in Chapin, anywhere around Lake Murray, this includes much of Lake Murray, get to your storm shelter. Again, a room with no windows, lowest level of the home or building that you are in. If you know anyone that had travel plans on I-26 between Irmo and Pomeria, now is not the time to be on those roadways, that is for sure. This stretch here of I-26 under that tornado warning, again in effect until 8:45 this morning. This warning does include the west side of Irmo as well, northwest side, so some of those communities near the Ballantine area under this tornado warning. Most Irmo technically not in it, but please be alert if you live in Irmo. You're going to have some active weather heading your way here pretty soon. So here's that warning once again in effect until 8:45 this morning. That's about another 20 minutes. And here we go with the timeline. I'm going to put a pretty short track on this. All right, so Chapin around 8:42 this morning, the peak area around 8:50, Jenkinsville around 8:55. Rough timeline for, again, this tornado warning issued for several counties, but primarily northern Lexington County under the gun here for a possible spin-up tornado. Nothing confirmed by the National Weather Service at this time, but the situation with these types of systems that you can get a quick spin-up tornado within these lines of storms. So right around here is where we have potential tornadic development. Again, this is approaching Lake Murray at this time, moving pretty quickly to the northeast at this moment. So let me get a zoomed in look here where the rotation may be, and right around Macedonia, right around Wheeland, Chapin. At the very least, we have some strong wind gusts affecting you. This is the general area we're watching for rotation at this time. So the green is where winds are moving toward the Columbia radar. Red is winds moving away from the radar. When those two come together, you can get rotation to develop. That's exactly what's happening here this morning. And you see that bright green, that's a punch of strong winds. So even if there is not a tornado that develops, you're at least going to get some strong wind gusts right here moving from the west to the east. Again, this is just southwest of Chapin right now. If you are in Chapin, please get to your tornado shelter at this time. We have this active tornado warning in place until 8:45 this morning for several counties, but basically at the intersection of Saluda, Newberry, and Lexington counties is where we have this tornado warning in place until 8:45 this morning. No confirmations of tornadoes at this time. We are keeping a close eye on this, though, as this is just part of a big line of storms impacting much of the Midlands, a huge line. Let me go ahead and put the loop on. And you can see it's stretching all the way from the North Carolina state line to the Georgia state line. Huge line of storms racing to the east-northeast. Within the line, you can get occasional areas of rotation to develop. That's exactly what's happening at this very moment, just southwest of Chapin at this moment. So all the orange polygons, all those big boxes you see, those are severe thunderstorm warnings. And along this line, up and down it, we could have wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour, which are strong enough to topple some trees and power lines, cause power outages. Could be a mess out there over the next hour or two as this line moves through. The area of greatest concern, though, is this tornado warning, where we could see a brief tornado develop. Again, a watch means that the ingredients are favorable for tornadoes to form. A warning means you need to take action and get to your shelter because a tornado could form at any moment or may be actively occurring. We don't have any proof or evidence that this is occurring at this time. And as I look at the the debris product here, I don't see anything that suggests there is debris at the moment, but there's certainly some rotation on the radar picture right now. Let me get a zoomed in track here. Again, this is heading very close to Chapin, folks. So in Chapin, arrival time in about 15 minutes from now, close to 8:40 to 8:45 this morning. This will be crossing close to I-26 around that time as well, of course. So I think this particular area of rotation will just track north of Irmo eventually. So Irmo, you are not under the tornado warning at this time, but we do have the active tornado warning for areas like Chapin, Jenkinsville, Peak, Ballantine, the Wheeland area, Macedonia, just some of those neighborhoods. So there's Highway 76. There's I-26 right there. And then back toward the area of rotation here, right near the Macedonia area, crossing into Lexington County at this time. It's where we have some rotation. So this is close to St. Peter's Church Road. It's close to Amex Ferry Road, and getting closer and closer to Chapin at this moment. All right, so if now is the time to get inside, away from windows, lowest level of your home. Here's some suggestions on where you need to be in a tornado situation. Again, lowest level of your home, get in the center part of your house in a room that does not have any windows. Again, closets, bathrooms. If you have a basement, great. That's a great place to be. If you want to bring some protection with you just in case, cover your head with a blanket or even a bicycle helmet. That can go a long way. If the worst case scenario happens and your home is hit by a tornado, you're going to want some tennis shoes on to get out of that debris. So it might not be a bad idea to bring those with you as well, just in case. Again, the odds of that actually happening for you very low, but we want you all to be prepared in case the worst case scenario does in fact happen this morning. If you are just joining me, I'm Chief Meteorologist Taylor Kanost. We have a tornado watch in place for all of the Midlands until 1 o'clock this afternoon. The worst of the weather is likely going to occur over the next 2 hours or so. The worst of the line right now moving through the western Midlands. It's going to be moving into Columbia here pretty soon and then makes its way toward the eastern Midlands after that. Of course, the tornado threat is our main concern right now, but we also could see some damaging straight line winds that cause some power outages as well. We have one active tornado warning in place until 8:45 this morning. It's getting closer and closer to the Chapin area right now. As we look at our velocity product, this is where we have the area of rotation right around there. It's getting closer to Chapin as we speak. Again, folks in Chapin, now's the time to get to your storm shelter. Latest timeline has it arriving around 8:40 this morning. That's right around when it's going to cross the I-26 corridor. So if you know anyone that happens to be traveling up and down I-26 in extreme western parts of Richland County, a little bit of Lexington County and eastern Newberry County, now is not the time to be traveling on those roadways. Along with that potential for a tornado, it's raining heavily just east of Newberry, just west of Chapin, up and down this line near Gilbert, now getting in on that heavy rainfall, and now moving into western parts of, well, soon to be moving into western parts of Orangeburg County, but western parts of Lexington County getting hit hard by the heavy rain and gusty winds along this main line of storms. So now's the time not to be out and about, that's for sure. Again, I want you all to be paying close attention to the weather. If you had plans to head to church, just be aware that we're going to have some nasty weather moving through the area within the next hour or two. In Columbia, roughly around 9 to 9:30 looks to be the time. There is going to be some heavy rain moving through. There is going to be a lot of wind with this, and this is all going to be moving quickly from the west to the east. So right around that 9 to 9:30 time, not a great time to be on the roads or out and about across the Columbia Metro. Here's the loop at the last hour. You can see just how quickly this line is moving from the west to the east, and it's right along the main edge of that line that you can get that punch of gusty winds moving into Lexington County right now, moving through eastern Newberry County, back toward eastern Aiken County this morning. All of that really packing a punch, affecting traffic on I-20 at this moment in parts of Lexington County. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and get a check of some of our traffic cams out there. We'll take you to Lexington County, I-20 at mile marker 51. Certainly a wet scene out there right now, not much traffic. Glad to see that. Hopefully that trend continues. Here in the Columbia Metro, it's kind of the calm before the storm right now. It's from now. So again, now is not the time to be on the roadways, especially over the next hour or so in the Columbia Metro. Back to our tornado warning. Looks like we have an update, and some parts of that warning have been chopped off, and now really it's centered right around Chapin. Now, please, Chapin, if you are watching, if you live anywhere near there, is the time to get into your shelter. We do not have any proof of a tornado at this time, but we do have, at the very least, some rotation being picked up on the radar picture. Just waiting from National Weather Service. Okay, they have removed some counties from the tornado watch. That's good to hear. Let's see if that's updated on our mapping yet. Okay, so Saluda County has been removed from the tornado watch. You folks there in the clear for the rest of the day today. The rest of us still under the gun though for the tornado threat. So that's just a quick update on the tornado watch at this moment. Let's get back to the tornado warning though. This continues for another about 10 minutes or so. This is at the intersection of Lexington, Newberry, and out of Saluda County now, so a little sliver of Fairfield County included in this as well. And area of possible rotation where a tornado could briefly develop right around here, just southwest of Chapin, getting closer and closer to the I-26 corridor. For those of you watching in Columbia, some perspective here. Here's Columbia right here. Here's the tornado warning. So this does not include any part of the city of Columbia. It includes a little bit of the northwest side of Irmo. So if you live on the outskirts of Irmo on the northwest side, you are in the warning. Certainly Chapin is the area of greatest concern though for a possible tornado to form at this time. And our rotation is increasing on our radar picture here. When we get the light blue to pop up, that's a sign of a little bit more intense rotation that we need to be concerned about. So this is on the north shore of Lake Murray here, just south, is picking up on a little bit strengthening of rotation. One thing our radar can do in some cases is actually pick up on the debris from tornadoes being lofted in the air, and that's the picture you're looking at here. So I'm just going to scan this real quick, and I don't see anything obvious on there to show that there is debris. And we don't have any confirmations of a tornado at this time from anyone visibly or from the radar. So hopefully that trend continues. But at this time, we certainly have at least some areas of rotation right now passing over Chapin, just about to approach I-26. Now's the time to be in your storm shelter around the Chapin area, around Peak, Jenkinsville. Go ahead and get in your shelter as well. The northwest side of Irmo, I want you to be in your storm shelter at this time as well. Again, area of rotation right about there. This is tracking to the northeast at a pretty quick clip. So around the Hilton area, around White Rock, around Bookman, if any of that sounds familiar to you, if you want to be in your storm shelter, I know Bookman and areas just to the east of the warning, you may not be in a warning at this time. The Weather Service may very well extend this tornado warning as it moves closer to Fairfield County. So I want you folks in rural parts of Fairfield County, near and west rather of Blythewood, to be prepared that there could be a tornado warning for you folks at any given moment. We'll wait and see if the National Weather Service does decide to do that though. Time right now, 8:37. You are watching our severe weather coverage. I'm Chief Meteorologist Taylor Kanost here in studio on this Sunday morning, and an unusually busy Sunday morning for us. We've been prepping you for the potential of severe weather for several days now, and here it is, a line of strong, dangerous storms moving across the Midlands this morning, packing a threat for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour possible. But within this line of strong storms, we may see some tornadoes briefly develop. This is a situation where you don't get the long track tornadoes, but they can briefly touch down, cause damage to whoever happens to be there, and then lift back up. That can be a situation that continues to occur as this line tracks across the Midlands this morning. Columbia, get ready. This line's getting closer and closer. Lexington, it's moving into your neighborhood right now, and there is a severe thunderstorm warning for you in Lexington until 9 o'clock, the top of the next hour. Let's go ahead and put a general line of where this is moving next. It's a rough estimate of the timeline. So again, Lexington, it's moving into your neighborhood right now. Casey, right around 8:59 this morning. Columbia, 9:08. Again, roughly, that's when the time arrives. Dentsville around 9:13. Over to Pontiac around 9:26 this morning. Rough timeline for the beginning of the storms to move into your particular location. So over the next hour is when Columbia is going to be hit hardest by this line of storms, along with the isolated tornado threat. There will be a potential for damaging straight line winds that could cause some power outages. I'm going to pull up the power outage website real quick to see if we have any outages at this time across. Statewide, 8,000 customers without power. There are 800 or so without power in Saluda this morning, Saluda County. About 600 customers without power in Newberry County. Hardest hit county so far this morning is Greenwood County with 2,400 customers without power. So this line has a history of at least causing some sporadic power outages, and that threat will continue as this marches into the Columbia Metro. And speaking of which, we have a new severe thunderstorm warning just issued. That does include a lot of our area, including Columbia. Same threat, 60-mile-per-hour straight-line winds. A brief spin-up tornado possible. This is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 9:45 this morning for numerous counties. It basically stretches from St. Matthews all the way up to the North Carolina border. That's a huge severe thunderstorm warning. But you get the idea. Basically, if you're anywhere between Columbia, Sumter, St. Matthews, all the way up to the North Carolina state line, you are in that severe thunderstorm warning in place until 9:45 this morning. As of this hour, we're keeping a close eye on this tornado warning in effect for another 5 minutes or so. Looks like that particular part of the storm has already passed Chapin and is racing eastward. So this area of rotation close to the Peak area right now, close to the White Rock area right now. This rotation takes a moment to update. So in reality, the area of rotation is right around there right now. So if we look at our velocity product, again, green is wind moving toward the radar, red is moving away from the radar. Whenever you get those next to each other, you can get rotation to develop, and that's generally what we've been watching right around here, very close to I-26 at the moment. So this is going to continue its march to the east-northeast. If you live in the Jennings area, a rough arrival time about 8:56 this morning for you. This is going to be pretty close to the Bookman area as well. So we're starting to track into kind of the intersection of Lexington, Richland, and Fairfield counties now. Let me zoom out and give you a more broad view for those that may not be familiar what we're looking at here. So there's Winnsboro, Blythewood right around here along I-77. So this area of concern, this area of rotation is likely going to be tracking into southern Fairfield County here pretty soon. We'll wait and see if the Weather Service decides to extend their tornado warning. This current warning will expire in 3 minutes at 8:45. Again, we'll wait and see if they decide to extend or not. Up and down the line, as you can see, it's a brief burst of heavy rain, gusty winds that will occur up and down this line all the way from Barnwell through parts of Lexington, Aiken County. This is about to move into Orangeburg County, Calhoun County. Within the next 30 minutes, it'll be moving into your neighborhood. And of course, Columbia, it's knocking on our door. It's getting closer. Lexington, the burst of wind, the gusty winds, the heavy rain moving into your area as we speak. So I'm sure you're in the thick of it right now. Let's go ahead and get another look at our traffic cam. This is a DOT camera, Lexington County, mile marker 51. You can see the rain pouring down. We do have some folks out on the roadways there at the moment. And then I'll take you up to I-126 at Broad River Bridge this morning, an area that is beginning to get some of the rain to move in. You're going to get some gusty winds here and heavy downpours to move toward downtown within the next 20 minutes or so. See, back to the radar picture, and again, we are going to wait and see if this tornado warning is extended or not. Would not be surprised if it is. In these situations, the Weather Service often does like to issue an additional warning just in case another spin up or area of rotation does happen to develop. Again, continuing to monitor some general broad areas of rotation where you see the light blue on the radars, where the radar is picking up on the tightest rotation at this moment. So generally around Chapin has kind of been our target area here recently. That threat for a tornado, it appears, has cleared you folks just to the east of Chapin. I want you to stay in your shelter though for a few more minutes if you are watching in Chapin this morning, just in case. Again, broad picture, you can see just a big line of storms, tornado warnings just west of Charlotte now this morning. Just not going to be a good time to travel up and down I-77 this next hour or two. That is for sure. We are live streaming right now on our Facebook, the Watch Fox Facebook. So if you are currently watching us on TV, we're going to stay here for a while. But if you need to hop away from the TV and want to continue watching us, you can watch us on our Facebook page, the Watch Fox News Facebook page, to keep you up to date on the situation. I'm gonna stay on for a while here until this threat subsides. The tornado watch continues for basically all of our area except Saluda County until 1 o'clock this afternoon. But really, it's going to be the next hour or two that our threat continues. It looks like after 11 o'clock, most of us will likely be in the clear, and I think we're going to be good to go for the rest of the day after that. But for the time being, we continue to track active weather. And we do have a new tornado warning, as I suspected they would issue. Here we go. This includes Fairfield and northern parts of Richland County, north of Columbia, in effect until 9:15 this morning. All right, new tornado warning includes the city of Winnsboro. That's going to be our main city that's under this warning polygon here. This does not include Blythewood, but it does include Ridgeway. All right, so Ridgeway, Winnsboro, Jennings, all of you that live in those locations or nearby locations, head to your safe shelter, lowest level of your home, away from windows, a closet, a bathroom, some interior room that does not have any windows. That's going to be your safest place to be. Again, if you want to bring your phone along with you, you can watch our coverage on your phone on our Watch Fox Facebook page while you are in your tornado shelter. If you live in Chapin, you are in the clear. You can come out of your tornado shelter. You are no longer under a tornado warning. We are in the clear on the I-26 corridor there, but Irmo, you're going to get hit by the worst of the storm right now. You are not in an active severe thunderstorm warning here, but a punch of strong winds, heavy rain moving through your location right now. Farther south, Lexington, you're in the thick of it at this moment, and this cluster of storms is beginning to move into the west side of the Columbia Metro. So Casey, West Columbia, heavy rain imminent for you folks. Again, Irmo in the thick of it right now. Lexington, Red Bank, all experiencing that heavy rainfall at the moment. This is racing eastward. It's going to be moving into the Columbia Metro over the next half hour to 45 minutes. So real quick, rough timeline of what we're expecting for this line of storms. South Congaree arrival time around 8:51 this morning. West Columbia around 8:58. The center of Columbia, so downtown, around 9:04 this morning. 9:09 for Dentsville. Pontiac 9:21 this morning. So again, over the next 45 minutes, the worst of this storm to impact the Columbia Metro. Let's go back to the tornado warning in effect until 9:15 this morning. We do not have any confirmations of a tornado at this time, but there is enough rotation on the radar to warrant an additional tornado warning here for far northern Richland County and southern parts of Fairfield County. If you live in Ridgeway, if you live in Winnsboro, you are in this tornado warning that's in effect until until 9:15 this morning for about another 30 minutes. Our rotation product continues to show some moderate rotation near peak. Again, right near the Fairfield-Richland County line here in the western portions of those counties. So generally rotation around here, and we can pull up our velocity to show that as well. In reality, it looks like the rotation is close to here in southwest portions of Fairfield County right now, getting closer to the Highway 321 corridor. I would say the area of rotation of greatest concern is most likely to track just south of Winnsboro. But again, if you live anywhere in Winnsboro, I want you to be in your tornado shelter until this storm passes by. It's a rough timeline for the area of rotation. So it's heading very close to the Jennings community, over toward the Ryan and Rockton areas, close to 9 to 9:05 this morning. Ridgeway, 9:12 approximately is when the area of rotation could be heading in your general direction. At the very least, even if a tornado does not develop, and we do not have any confirmations of a tornado just yet, you're going to get those gusty winds, you're going to get heavy downpours, all of that, which could lead to some power outages this morning. I'm continuing to keep an eye on the power outage map. We have About 300 customers in Lexington County without power at this moment. Over 1,000 in Newberry County without power. Nearly 1,000 customers in Saluda County without power as well. So numerous folks have been impacted, at the very least, by those gusty straight line winds that have caused some power outages. That's worth warning you folks about as well. As far as the general line of storms, this is what we're looking at right now. Communities being impacted at this very moment. Irmo, the far west side of Columbia, eastern parts of Lexington, down toward south central parts of Lexington County, now extreme western parts of Orangeburg County, beginning to see some of that rain. So get ready in Gaston, get ready in North, get ready in Norway. Some gusty winds, heavy rainfall could cause power outages. That's going to be on your doorstep here pretty soon. And of course, the city of Columbia, we're going to be impacted by some heavy rain here in a matter of moments, along with some gusty winds. Speaking of the gusts, let's talk about that for a moment. Even when it's not storming today, it's going to be a windy day. Right now, the gusts are not extreme, except for right along that line of storms. But we do have that lake wind advisory in place today, and really it's going to be the next couple hours where the wind is going to be at its worst. Up to 35-mile-per-hour gusts are possible even later this afternoon, though. So even when the rain is gone, we're going to continue to have some gusty conditions today. That's kind of a secondary threat. Our main concern continues to be the tornado watch that's in place until 1 o'clock this afternoon. Those of you that were watching in Saluda County, you have been removed from the tornado watch. I would not be surprised to see Newberry, Aiken counties drop from this within the next hour or two as well. Basically, it's going to be canceled from west to east as this line we're watching continues to progress from the west to the east as well. So time right now is 8:51. I'm Chief Meteorologist Taylor Kanost. You're continuing to watch our severe weather coverage as a line of strong storms marches across South Carolina this morning. We have had several tornado warnings issued in upstate and now parts of the Midlands, and that tornado threat looks to continue as this line of strong storms marches on across much of the southeast. It's impacting North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, all the way down to Florida this morning with those strong storms posing a threat for tornadoes and damaging wind. I got a report here on Facebook from Brett for power out at Whitehall. So again, this line is going to cause some power outages. Be prepared for that. That is a distinct possibility. Let's go ahead and jump back in here to our tornado warning that's in effect for Fairfield and northern Richland County until 9:15 this morning. And I want to pop up our velocity, which shows which direction the rain and the wind is moving. So our Columbia radar is south of here. This is moving northward, this wind moving southward. We have rotation developing right around here. So there's Winnsboro. Southwest of Winnsboro is where we have active rotation at this time. Here's Ridgeway for you folks watching there. I think this is going to track pretty close to you folks in Ridgeway. We don't have any confirmations of a tornado at this time, and nothing popping up on our debris trackers to suggest there is a tornado. So that's good news. Hopefully that trend continues, but again, there's enough on the radar to warrant this tornado warning. So if you live in Jennings, Ryan, over toward Winnsboro and Ridgeway, I want you all to be in your tornado shelter. So that's lowest level of your home, away from windows, and let this storm pass you by. It's quick moving, so it's not going to stick around too long. But if you're anywhere in that tornado warning, which includes a good chunk of Fairfield County and far northern parts of Richland County, you are under a tornado warning until 9:15 this morning. Our radar does suggest there is some rotation on the west side of Columbia, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. Let me see if there's anything here that pops out. It's so close to the radar that's really hard to tell. And that could be the reason that it's showing that rotation is just some interference from it being so close to the radar there. So I don't think there's an immediate concern for tornado in Columbia, but certainly we're going to have some straight line winds moving into town. In fact, you can already see the gust fronts moving into the KC area right now. This right here, burst of strong winds, heavy rain moving into those locations. That's going to be moving into downtown here very soon. Let me pull up our KC camera from the DOT to see what it looks like there at this moment. And sure enough, we have heavy rainfall at this time. Doesn't look like the wind is too extreme from this picture, but certainly a deluge of rain moving through there at the moment. Let's see if I can pull up a couple more cameras here. So Broad River Bridge on I-126. Heavy rainfall starting to make its way there at this time. Back toward Lexington. And certainly some ponding on the roads there as well. So if you can hold off on going out for the next 30 to 60 minutes in the Columbia Metro, that'd be my suggestion. It's going to get a lot better after that, that's for sure. Another camera, this is going to be the southeast side of town on I-77. The worst of the storms have not affected you folks there just yet, but it's on its way, I can promise you that. So we got a whole bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings in these orange polygons. It basically covers much of our viewing area with that threat for 60-mile-per-hour straight-line winds, where you have the red polygons, including just north of Columbia, is where we have an active tornado warning in effect until 9:15. This includes the cities of Winnsboro and Ridgeway as well. It does not include Blythewood, but it's close, and at the very least, Blythewood, you could see heavy rain and some strong, damaging straight-line winds move your direction. So zoom in here, and it's not the prettiest radar picture in the world, but we do have at least some potential for a rotation right where the reds and greens come together. So I think in particular right around here, passing over Highway 321 south of Winnsboro is kind of the primary area of concern right now. We just got an update on the tornado warning polygon. They chopped off the backside here. So this right here is the current tornado warning continuing to be in place until 9:15 this morning. So that officially removes Richland County from the tornado warning. This is just south central Fairfield County now, primarily Winnsboro and Ridgeway. So the I-77 corridor, 321 up to Winnsboro, both of those areas under the gun for at least the possibility of a tornado to pop up. More comments on Facebook from Dana. Thanks for watching this morning. Said they lost power in Irmo. Michelle saying they lost power in Chapin. Yeah, getting quite a few reports of power outages across the area. So if you were in Columbia watching this storm come in, be prepared. There could be power outages this morning. We have over 1,000 customers in Newberry County without power. Just about 1,000 without power in Saluda County. Over 2,000 customers in Greenwood County without power. About 300 in Lexington County at the moment, at last check. That number likely to climb as we continue to see this storm march across the area. It's moving quickly. And in fact, I can hear the rain falling on our roof here, so that means it is getting awfully close to downtown Columbia right now. Here's a zoomed in look, and West Columbia, KC, in the thick of it right now. You can see that heavy rain, and within that heavy rain, you're going to get those gusty winds. That stretches back down to Dixiana as well. So it's going to be a quick burst of heavy rain, but enough that could cause some power outages moving into downtown Columbia right now. And it's going to be moving toward Forest Acres probably within the next 5 to 10 minutes. It's a quick moving system. It won't take long to move across the area. So quick track, again, arriving in Columbia any moment here, at least center of town. Dentsville around 9:07. Horrell Hill area around 9:18 this morning. That's probably approximately when it reaches the Pontiac neighborhood as well. In fact, let me go and pop up our sky cam here, see what we're seeing outside. I definitely hear it in the studio. The rain falling and the wind coming in, and well, there you go. Hardly can see anything, very low visibility thanks to the rain coming down. Let's go back to our I-126 camera near Broad River Bridge. It's from the DOT, courtesy of them. Again, the heavy rain, the gusty winds coming into town as we speak, and over to Casey near Airport Boulevard. It's likely going to be more of the same. Not particularly safe to be out and about on those roadways due to that heavy rain coming down. So we have 2 active tornado warnings in the state of South Carolina. Of course, one here in Fairfield County, north of Columbia. Another one up here in Cherokee and York counties, not too far away from Charlotte. So this line has a history of at least producing rotation. Haven't seen any confirmations of tornadoes in South Carolina this morning, but back in Georgia, Mississippi, from last night into yesterday, this whole cluster of storms has had a history of producing some tornadoes, and that's why we are here to watch it carefully as it continues its march across the Midlands this morning. So we are at 9 o'clock, top of the hour. If you are just joining me, I'm Chief Meteorologist Taylor Kanost here, part of the WACH Fox weather team to keep you up to date on our severe weather situation. And we're watching for 2 things. Damaging straight line wind, that's going to be the most widespread problem. It's had a history of causing power outages, likely will continue to do that. If you're watching us on television right now and you lose power, but you still have signal on your phone, you can watch us on our Facebook page, the WACH Fox Facebook page. We are streaming there as well right now, and we'll continue to keep you updated on that on there as long as this storm threat continues. So along with the straight line wind threat, we do have a tornado threat. We have 1 active tornado warning for southern Fairfield County in effect until 9:15 this morning, another 14 minutes or so. This includes Winnsboro, this includes Ridgeway. If you are in either of those locations, I want you to be in your tornado shelter right now, lowest level of your home, away from windows until this storm passes by. Boy, I can hear that wind whipping outside our studio. So again, would not be shocked if there are some power outages in Columbia here pretty soon. I will say that the rotation here, not looking particularly intense, although it's kind of a tough angle for the radar to pick up on. But generally right around there. We'll go and zoom in. Between Winnsboro and Ridgeway is likely where there is at least some modest rotation. Whenever you get some kinks in this line is when you can potentially get a brief tornado to pop up. So between Winnsboro and Ridgeway, very close to I-77 right now, is where there could be a brief spin-up tornado at any time in those locations. No confirmations of that. Just a report coming in of a 49-mile-per-hour peak wind at Dutch Fork High School at 8:46. That's just an example of some of the winds we are dealing with across the area. Yeah, this is going to be a quick moving line. Doesn't last particularly long, which is good news. The quicker we can get out of here, the better. So it's moving right through Columbia right now, affecting the I-77 corridor. Up and down I-26 as well. Heavy rain falling. Gusty winds along that main line of storms approaching St. Matthews, approaching Orangeburg. We have severe thunderstorm warnings out in front of that line for everyone from St. Matthews up to the North Carolina state line, from Columbia over to Sumter. The one thing you may notice is there's really not much lightning with this. In fact, up and down this whole line, only 1 lightning strike detected over the past 10 minutes. So it's not an electrical storm, that's for sure. That's often the case this time of the year, is you don't have much charge with these as far as energy and causing an electric storm necessarily, but there's a lot of wind energy, and that's enough to cause some straight line winds and some damage. Here's Columbia right now. We're in the thick of it in the city, downtown, over to Forest Acres, approaching Dentsville. Heavy rainfall at this very moment. Gusty winds right in here. Again, get ready in Fort Jackson. Up toward Blythewood, you're getting hit with the heavy rain right now. This will be approaching the Pontiac area before too long. Heading toward the south side. Gaston, looks like the worst of this is going to be clearing you pretty soon. But here's I-26. Again, that's going to be not a fun drive for you folks there. Swansea, you're in the middle of the heavy rain, north down to Norway. Orangeburg, I would give it another 20 to 30 minutes, and this heavy rain will be heading your direction. Orangeburg, you are not in a severe thunderstorm warning right now. That could change at any moment, though. if the National Weather Service decides to issue a warning for you folks there. Hey Clara, I have that pulled up. Okay. I've got our meteorologist Clara Faith in here joining us this morning. Again, no confirmations of a tornado at this time with this tornado warning, but what we do have is an active tornado warning in place. And looks like that warning was literally just dropped. So that's great news for you folks in Fairfield County. Again, if you are watching in Winsboro, in Ridgeway, South Central Fairfield County, the tornado warning has been canceled. You are free to come out of your tornado shelter at this time in those locations. Be aware there could still be some damaging straight line winds. You are still under a severe thunderstorm warning there until 9:45 this morning, although the worst of the storm will be past you by then. We have a huge severe thunderstorm warning stretching from Lancaster through Columbia all the way down to St. Matthews. Again, that entire warning in place until 9:45 this morning. There it is. Main threat's going to be 60-mile-per-hour straight line winds, heavy downpours. Really not much of a hail threat, but what we'll continue to be watching is the possibility for a brief spin-up tornado. That's what has warranted the tornado warnings this morning, and we certainly could have more of those tornado warnings pop up if the rotation warrants it. The punch of straight line winds is right here right now, so moving into Fort Jackson, approaching Hopkins. That's where you're going to get that initial burst of heavy rain and gusty straight line winds. We call this the gust front. That's, again, already clearing through Columbia, a very quick system. Here's the loop over the past 30 minutes. You can see it's just racing on by. So the worst of the rain, the worst of the wind's going to be through downtown Columbia here very soon. Get ready in Pontiac, Fort Jackson, Hopkins. This is going to be in your neighborhood here very soon. We are looking for primarily a threat of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and heavy rainfall for your locations as this heads your direction. One thing to note is as we move into the late morning hours, as this line continues to move east, we're going to start to tap into a little bit more instability as the day wears on. So those of you watching in the eastern part of the Midlands, I don't think there's any sign of this line of storms slowing down. If anything, it may intensify a little bit. So I want you all in Sumter and Camden and Manning, around those locations, to be aware that this threat is likely to continue as it moves your direction here over the next hour or so. We're going to continue to watch for the tornado threat, but the primary concern is going to be those damaging straight line winds that can cause power outages. We have a tornado watch that's in effect until 1 o'clock. This watch is going to get canceled before that. I can almost guarantee that. In fact, it's already been canceled for Saluda County. May not be too much longer before it's canceled for the rest of you in the western Midlands, around Newberry, around Lexington County, around Aiken County, even in Richland County as well. Just going to check a few things here real quick. And again, no confirmations of a tornado at this time, which is good news. Roll through some of the reports here. Yeah, not seeing anything. So all good news so far. We do have quite a few power outages being picked up. We're up to nearly 2,000 customers without power in Lexington County. Over 1,000 in Newberry County, nearly 1,000 in Saluda County, over 2,000 in Greenwood County, just about 200 in Aiken County at this time. Hurricane Helene was in regards to the power outages. Thank goodness for that, but still some of you are going to likely be dealing with some power outages, at least at times today. Hopefully crews can do their best to fix that up as quick as possible. Statewide, we're at about 10,000 customers without power this morning. So you think back to Helene, there were over 1 million without power at one point in South Carolina. So we're not nearly to that point, thankfully. But time right now is 9:09. I'm Chief Meteorologist Taylor Kanost. Continuing to watch the potential for a brief spin-up tornado damaging straight line winds as this line continues to march across the Midlands. We have this active severe thunderstorm warning, a very large severe thunderstorm warning polygon that's in place until 9:45 this morning. Here's the main line of concern moving through the east side of Richland County right now, getting close to you folks in Kershaw County. It won't be long before it moves into Sumter County as well. Let me pull up our shear product again, see if there's any rotation being picked up. And nothing significant, which is good news. Hopefully that trend continues. Yeah, it's all about the rain, all about the gusty winds at this point. I'm going to take you back outside to a couple of locations. There's Lexington County along I-20. Pull up our I-77 at Forest Drive here on the east side of town. Your Forest Acres. Oh, looks like that camera's down. All right, how about I-26 near Pine Ridge on the south side? There we go. We got some heavy rainfall at the moment. Gusty winds moving through at this time as well. You can see the camera bouncing around in that wind as the main line of storms is moving through that location right now. If you're thinking about traveling today and trying to think, okay, when can I hit the roads? Really, give it another hour or two. We're going to be in a lot better shape. It's still going to be windy throughout the day today, but I think our severe weather threat is likely done once this line clears east of us. There is a slight chance we get some redeveloping storms this afternoon, but I think all this rain we're getting this morning is going to kind of work things over too much, and we won't have the time for the atmosphere to recover for a second round of storms. It's something we'll watch, but yeah, for the time being, it really looks like this line moving through right now is our primary concern. Rest of the day, we should be okay. It's gonna be a little windy, might have some more rain at times, but the severe threat is really with what's happening right now. And once this clears out, I think we're gonna be in pretty good shape today. Those of you Gamecock fans heading down toward Orlando today, if you're traveling on the roads, might be a tough go for a little while longer than that. As you can see, we have this huge line stretching all the way back through southern Georgia, back toward the Florida Panhandle. That's all going to sweep across those areas at least through early this afternoon. So if you're heading that way, you may want to wait a little bit longer just in case. Certainly more lightning down here as opposed to what we're seeing in Columbia right now, so could be a rough go for travelers near Savannah, down toward Jacksonville in the immediate future. Back closer to home, this is what we're looking at right now. It's really two severe thunderstorm warnings. They are two large boxes covering a lot of the area. This first one here in effect until 9:45 this morning, and then we have a second one south of there, includes western parts of Orangeburg County. This in effect until 9:15, about to expire here in just a few minutes. The Weather Service says they will likely not extend this to a severe thunderstorm warning for you folks in Orangeburg County. So they're thinking that this part of the line is below severe threshold, so below 60 miles per hour. So that's good news for you folks in Orangeburg County. We're not expecting severe winds there. There could be gusty winds, certainly, and isolated power outages can't be ruled out in Orangeburg. But the worst of the storm, the worst of this line is moving through eastern Richland, eastern Fairfield counties, and moving into Calhoun County right now. All of this going to be moving into Kershaw and Sumter counties here before too long. Back into Columbia, still some steady rain. The worst of the storm is past us in Columbia. That was quick, wasn't it? Yeah, it moved right on through. Now it's affecting Fort Jackson, Hopkins, Pontiac area. So Sandhills Mall likely getting hit hard with some heavy rain as well. Don't see any signs of tight rotation here, thankfully. And as long as that's the case, we're going to be in okay shape. There will be some power outages, certainly, and the The latest in that regard is we have now over 1,000 customers in Richland County without power. We have over 4,000 without power in Lexington County, about 1,500 without power in Newberry, over 1,000 without power in Saluda County, just 60 customers in Fairfield County without power so far. Again, if you are watching us on television this morning, we are also streaming on Facebook, so search the WACH Fox Facebook page. If you happen to lose power to your TV but still have signal on your phone, that can be a way to keep you updated. Also, if you have to step away from your television, you can continue to watch us that way on your phone. We do have some viewers on there this morning. We appreciate you all watching there. Sarah saying power's out on Broad River near I-20 this morning. Thanks for watching, Sarah. Scott saying very heavy rain and wind in the Lake Carolina area. Charlene, heavy rain and wind in Blythewood. Again, thank you all for watching this morning on our Facebook page, and those of you watching on television, we appreciate your viewership this morning as well. Kind of an unusual time of the day for severe weather, but it can happen from time to time here in South Carolina that we get some morning severe thunderstorms. It's exactly what we have going on at this moment. So we're at 9:15. Let me put a track on the strongest part of the storm here. And it continues to march east-northeast. So Lugoff, arrival time roughly 9:29 this morning. It'll be arriving, we're talking about the worst part of the storm, moving in your area around that time. Camden, 9:39. Storm, this line gets your direction a little bit sooner than that, maybe closer to 10 o'clock. And then really after that, it's not going to be long before this is out of here. And we're in the clear for the severe weather threat. So I'd say we have about another hour or so of rough weather, and the worst of this should be gone. Along with the storms, we are going to be dealing with some gusty winds today, even after this line of storms is out of here. Latest gust at the airport in Columbia, 37 miles per hour. So that's probably a product of this line moving through. But even after this is gone, we are expecting the possibility of some gusts, maybe upwards of 35 to 40 miles per hour occasionally through this afternoon. And then it should calm back down later on tonight, and heading into Monday, it's going to be a lot quieter, generally speaking, across the area. All right, so time right now, 9:17. We are down to one lone severe thunderstorm warning right here from Columbia over to Sumter, stretching all the way to the North Carolina state line. Charlotte beginning to be impacted by this line of storms as well. Let's say you have travel plans between Columbia and Atlanta. Are you safe to go? Yeah, I think you are. The worst of this line is now clearing east of Columbia, so I-20 through Augusta over to Atlanta. I think you're in good shape. You're going to deal with some rain, but the worst of this severe threat has passed you by at this point. Now, I-26 between Columbia and Charleston, different story. Certainly going to be a rough go there for a little while longer. St. Matthews, you're about to get hit by the heavy rainfall. Orangeburg. So it's going to be maybe a few more hours before Charleston is hit by this line of storms. And the main threat, again, is going to be those straight line winds that cause power outages. We have thousands without power this morning across the Midlands. As I just mentioned a minute ago, over 4,000 customers in Lexington County without power, over 1,000 in Richland County without power, and statewide we're up to 14,000 customers without power this morning across South Carolina. That number is likely going to climb quite a bit. So we have this active severe thunderstorm warning for numerous counties. Right now, the counties being impacted mostly western Kershaw County near Elgin, eastern parts of Richland County east of Columbia near Fort Jackson, Hopkins, getting close to Eastover. That's where the worst of this storm is right now. 60-mile-per-hour winds possible here. There's Camden, so again, get ready in Camden. Some of that nasty weather is going to be heading your way pretty soon. And beyond the power outages, I don't have any reports of any damage yet. You know, it might take some time for that to come in. So if you are watching us on Facebook and want to comment about any damage you're seeing, we'd love to hear from you. And we can pass that along to the National Weather Service as well. Some assistance this morning. Let's see here. Yeah, some damage reports in near the Augusta, Georgia area, but that's about it so far. So that's the good news. We're not seeing any significant damage just yet. Quite a few power outages, but if we can get through with just that, then we'll call today a success, I think. Columbia, we are through the worst of the heavy rain right now. East side of town, I-20, so again around Sand Hills Mall, Pontiac neighborhood, over to Elgin. You're experiencing the worst of this rain right now, getting close to Lake Wateree as well. Down toward Hopkins, Fort Jackson. I'll go and zoom in here and get you a closer look at some of those locations. See how long Highway 378 there, close to Hopkins. I-20 here. There's Elgin. Heavy rain moving into town there right now. More rural parts of western Kershaw County getting this heavy rain. And Fairfield County, you're just about in the clear for this severe weather threat. I told you, this is quick moving. It's not going to be something that sticks around too long, and that's definitely been the case today. Let's head to Calhoun County, where we have heavy strong winds hits your doorstep. Orangeburg, this right here is below severe levels, so heavy rain, some gusty winds, but likely not severe weather moving your direction right now. So no active severe thunderstorm warning for you guys in Orangeburg County, where the line does not look quite as intense as it does farther to the north here. All right, so yeah, we're in pretty good shape here. This won't be too much longer before we get this line of storms out of our area for good. We're up to now 1,100 without power in Fairfield County. Again, well, Lexington County's back down to 3,300 without power, so that's improved. 1,400 and change without power in Newberry County, just shy of 1,000 without power in Saluda County. 2,400 without power in Greenwood County this morning. Statewide, 16,000 customers without power this morning due to this line of storms. I'm going to grab a drink of water here real quick. Been on for over an hour now, so bear with me. All right, so it is 9:22 this morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Taylor Kanost, continuing to monitor our severe weather situation across the Midlands. Columbia, we're in the clear for the severe weather threats. In fact, the severe thunderstorm warning has been removed for all of Columbia. So we're good to go in the city of Columbia itself. Now, if you're on the east side of town near Pontiac, we're still in that warning. The worst of the weather impacting you right now. Sumter, give it another 30 minutes or so, and this is going to be knocking on your door. But again, Columbia, Winnsboro, you are all clear from the severe weather threat. Here's our latest projection for timing. Again, Lugoff, it's pretty much there right now. Give it another few minutes. Camden, 9:35. Statesburg around 9:48 this morning. Privateer, 10:07. Sumter around 10:12. Again, rough estimate of when the storms will be in your particular neighborhood. Down towards St. Matthews, again, it's just about moving into town right now. But I think travel is now good to go. If you need to travel on I-77, you're in good shape. The worst of the storms have passed you by. If you're traveling west out of Columbia, whether it's I-26 or I-20, you're good to go. You're in the clear. Really, right now, it's I-20 east of Columbia and I-26 southeast out of Columbia that are dealing where travel is going to be a little touch and go for a while. Here is the I-20 view. I think the worst of the storm has passed by this location, so that's good for those folks there. Let's go ahead and take a look outside in our sky cam here at our station in downtown Columbia. Still cloudy, still raining, but the worst of the rain. At one point, we couldn't see anything on this camera, but the worst of the rain is out of here now in downtown Columbia, so that's good news. Let's see if we can pull up any other cameras. There's another one on I-26. So this is like I-26 near Orangeburg. Yeah, looking okay here at this time. So beyond the heavy rain, beyond gusty winds, no immediate threat for tornadoes at this time. We do still have the tornado watch in place until 1 o'clock. I certainly would not be surprised if this watch is canceled pretty soon for a lot of us. Basically, if you are west of the line of storms that's moving through, your tornado threat is done. There is a slim chance we get redevelopment of some storms this afternoon, but I'm thinking what we have here this morning is likely going to be the worst of the severe weather today. Now, having said that, we still could get a brief tornado to spin up within this line of storms. Sometimes we get these little areas of rotation to pop up. So don't let your guard down if you're in these locations just yet. Right now, I don't see anything too obvious in regards to rotation, so that's good news. Hopefully that trend continues. Let's see here. Yeah, we're doing okay here. Charlotte under a tornado warning right now, at least the northwest side of town there near Mount Holly and Gastonia. So that's the lone tornado warning anywhere close to us across the state of South Carolina. So time right now, 9:26. I'm going to stick around until 9:30, and then what we're going to do is I'll continue my coverage on social media on our Watch Fox Facebook page. Those of you watching on Watch Fox this morning on our television station at 9:30, we'll send it back to regular programming, and we'll continue our coverage on our social media channels until things wind down for good as far as the severe weather threat is concerned. But I think we're trending in the right direction, and things are not looking quite as severe as they did maybe an hour ago, and no imminent tornado threat. So again, in a couple minutes, we will put an end to our coverage on television, but continue on our social media platforms. We have this one active severe thunderstorm warning before I let you all go on TV. This continues until 9:45 this morning for Kershaw County, for Sumter County, eastern Richland County, northern parts of Calhoun County as well. So this dangerous line of storms could produce 60-mile-per-hour winds impacting Elgin, parts just past Fort Jackson right now, getting close to Eastover, impacting St. Matthews at this very moment. Sumter, again, it'll be in your area within the next about half hour or so, give or take. And you know, I think it's going to get to Sumter sooner than 10:10, but that's just what our radar is roughly estimating here. Again, Camden, it's going to be in your area any second now. It says 9:38. It's going to be sooner than that. Cherryvale, roughly 9:54 this morning, and then Manning around 10:30 this morning. That's when you could see some of these storms heading your particular direction. So this is our lone severe thunderstorm warning. It no longer includes the majority of the city of Columbia. Columbia, we are in the clear for the severe weather threat. It is continuing to impact eastern Richland County, including near Eastover, including near St. Matthews, near Elgin, up toward Camden. That's where the worst of the storm is located right now across the Midlands. So again, once again, appreciate you all watching on television this morning. We will continue our coverage on our social media platforms. Search Watch Fox on Facebook. We are streaming there, and you can continue to watch as this line of storms continues its march eastward this morning across the Midlands. Those of you watching on Watch Fox, thank you again for watching. We'll go ahead and send it back to regular programming. All right. Back to programming on TV. I'm still here. I just realized my shirt was untucked there for a while. So you were all probably seeing that. Okay. All right, here's our situation. Severe thunderstorm warning continues until 9:45 for Kershaw County, for eastern Richland, for Sumter counties, northern Calhoun counties. You get the idea at this point. 60-mile-per-hour straight line winds continuing up and down this line. We're watching for the possibility of a brief spin-up tornado, but at this time, not really seeing anything to warrant a tornado warning. So that's good news. So at this point, we're just going to kind of babysit the radar a little bit longer until this gets on out of here. Tornado watch does continue until 1 o'clock this afternoon, and we do have an update on that watch. Some good news and not surprising news. Fairfield, Newberry, Lexington, Aiken, and Saluda counties, you are no longer in the tornado watch. It has been canceled for your locations. It does continue for the eastern Midlands, but once this line clears out of your locations, we will be in the clear and free of this severe weather threat for much longer. So again, tornado watch canceled for the western half of the Midlands, continues for the eastern half of the area from Richland through Kershaw, Sumter, Lee, Clarendon, Calhoun, and Orangeburg counties until 1 o'clock this afternoon. Time right now is 9:31. We'll continue with our severe weather coverage here. Here's the situation in Columbia at this moment. A warm and muggy day, despite the stormy weather. It's 60 degrees right now. That's a lot warmer than our highs have been the past few days, except for yesterday. We're going to be pretty warm this afternoon. Highs in the mid-60s for a lot of us, maybe even upper 60s if the rain clears out quickly enough. So almost a spring-like day with the temperatures and with the severe weather that continues to affect the area. So continuing with the storms up and down the Carolinas, back toward Georgia, and kind of our sports teams heading south today to Orlando for the Citrus Bowl. And if any of you Gamecock fans are doing the same, I want you to be aware that there is a rough line of storms that will likely impact your travels this morning into at least the early afternoon. This line stretches all the way back down to Florida. So Orlando likely to be impacted by some of the severe weather today. This is a rather large area that could be impacted by severe weather. Slight risk in place from southern Virginia all the way through the Florida Panhandle today. Hopefully this doesn't end up being too bad. Take a look at all the severe weather reports across the nation over the past 24 hours. And quite a bit of damage. And let me focus on the tornado reports. Several of them just over the past 24 hours. Looks like 42 reports of tornadoes. Now, some of these could be the same tornado reported multiple times, but from southeast Texas through Mississippi, Alabama, some reports of tornado damage or tornadoes spotted there just over the past 24 hours. So yeah, that's why the Storm Prediction Center issued this tornado watch, just to play it extra safe. This line of storms has had a history of producing tornadoes, and it continues to be somewhat of a threat for us this afternoon, or this morning rather, across the eastern Midlands. We have one active severe thunderstorm warning until 9:45. It's 9:34 this morning. This includes Kershaw, eastern Richland, Sumter counties, northern Calhoun County, all included in this severe thunderstorm warning. Line of storms capable of producing 60-mile-per-hour winds is approaching Camden right now. Get ready for some heavy rain and gusty winds in Camden if it's not already there. Rembert, it will be in your location soon. Leesburg, you're being impacted by this heavy rain right now. Sumter, I think probably close to 10 o'clock is when this burst of heavy rain and gusty winds will head your direction. farther south, Eastover hit hard with the rain right now. St. Matthews, the worst of the rain, and will be clearing out of your area pretty soon. In Orangeburg, you're being hit with the rain at the moment. You are not in a severe thunderstorm warning in Orangeburg, but some gusty winds, occasional or isolated power outages will be a possibility. Latest power outage numbers have climbed significantly. Richland County, over 10,000 customers without power this morning. Over 1,000 without power in Fairfield County and Newberry counties. 3,500 in Lexington County without power. Statewide, we are up to 27,000 without power at this moment. So again, over 10,000 in Richland County without power. So not good, but if we'll continue to stream here on Facebook if you want to continue watching our coverage. Hopefully you at least have a cell signal if you lose power in your home. As far as other reports are concerned, just not really getting anything. If you do have any reports and want to pass those along on Facebook here, I'd be happy to list those off, but for the time being, just not seeing anything beyond the power outages. So, hey, hopefully that trend continues and we can get out of here mostly unscathed, and hopefully the power crews can get things back in order pretty quickly. It's a shame they have to work on a Sunday during the holidays. We appreciate all the power crews, what you do to keep the lights on for us. Hopefully it's an easy fix, or as easy as possible. 9:36 this morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Taylor Kanost. If you're in Columbia, if you're in Winnsboro, if you are in Lexington, Newberry, your severe weather threat is done. You are in the clear. If you're in Camden, Sumter, St. Matthews, and Orangeburg, you're not necessarily in the clear yet. Heavy rain continuing for a lot of those locations. Sumter, it's going to be in your neighborhood very soon, in the next 20 minutes or so. You can expect gusty winds that could produce some power outages. That's had a history of doing that. Also heavy rain. That's not going to last very long, neither the wind or the heavy rain. It's a very thin line that's moving quickly from the west to the east, so don't plan on this being something that's like going to stick around all day long, but just a brief burst of heavy rain that could knock out power is kind of our main concern this morning. So Kershaw County, eastern Richland, western Sumter, over to Calhoun County, Orangeburg County, all dealing with that line of storms right now. We just have the one severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect until 9:45, another 8 minutes or so. Once that warning is dropped, we'll see if they extend it out beyond that. But if they don't, they will be in pretty good shape. All right. Yep, still. So again, severe thunderstorm warning continues, and we'll kind of be a little bit more casual here since we're not on TV. So if there are some occasional breaks in the audio, that's me just kind of looking around for some reports and looking at the data across the area. So bear with me if there are some brief pauses. We don't have any reports of tornadoes in South Carolina so far today. We don't have any reports of even tree damage across South Carolina just yet. Hopefully that trend continues. But again, for the time being, I'm just going to be watching this line of storms. And what you're looking at here is our velocity. Red means the wind is blowing away from the radar located there. Green means it's moving toward the radar. When those two come together, sometimes you can get a tornado to briefly spin up right along that shear line, and we're not seeing really any strong evidence of rotation there right now. But what this red line is basically, or that dividing line between the green and the red, is where you're going to have that initial gust of strong wind and heavy rain. So that's kind of like the opener of the storm, so to speak, and that's moving into western Sumter County right now. Shouldn't be too long before it arrives in the city of Sumter. So again, right around 10 o'clock for you guys in Sumter. Stateburg, it's going to be there very soon. Privateer around 10 o'clock as well. Over to St. Charles around 10:15 this morning for the arrival of these storms. Tornado watch has been dropped for a lot of you from Fairfield, Newberry, Saluda, Lexington, and Aiken counties. You are done with the severe weather threat. It is technically in place until 1 o'clock this afternoon for the rest of you, but it's going to be dropped earlier than that, so don't worry about that. The watch is also in effect for the Charlotte Metro and all down toward the Low Country. We'll wait and see if it's also issued for the PD area, but so far the Storm Prediction Center has chosen just to highlight those particular locations. All right. We're up to 27,000 without, well, excuse me, 31,000 without power in the state of South Carolina. 10,000 of those are located in Richland County. 3,500 are located in Lexington County. So we did get hit pretty hard in the Columbia Metro. Again, this is nothing like what we dealt with Helene. We had over 1 million without power at one point with Helene across South Carolina. Just 30,000 relative to that. That's certainly manageable. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning issued. Let's go ahead and take a look at that one. This is until 10:45 this morning. Again, a large severe thunderstorm warning polygon. It looks like it switched back to the old one here. There we go. So you get the idea. Basically all of Clarendon County, all of Sumter County, all of Lee County, all of most of Kershaw County, basically everyone ahead of this main line of storms under the severe thunderstorm warning. Same threats, 60-mile-per-hour winds, a brief spin-up tornado possible, but certainly not guaranteed. That warning in place until 10:45 this morning. So Sumter, Manning, Santee all included. Well, excuse me, Santee is just south of the warning. You are not in the warning. But virtually all the way down this line here until most of Clarendon County included in that severe thunderstorm warning. If anyone watching on Facebook this morning has any reports of trees down, branches down, anything like that, that you want to pass along, please do. We can forward that to the National Weather Service, and that actually helps them determining whether or not they should continue with issuing the warnings. So the more information, the better. So again, if you have any of that information to pass along, I do have our Facebook Live pulled up here on my computer and can pass along any of the comments that you may have this morning. All right, Camden, the worst of the rain is going to be out of your neighborhood very soon. The wind may stick around a little longer. Heavy rain moving into Stateburg. Some of the more rural locations in western Sumter County. Heavy rain continuing in St. Matthews, but the worst of the wind is likely past you at this point. And Orangeburg, you are past the heaviest of the rain, so you are all clear there. If you live here, you're all clear. Basically, if you are west of this line, you're good to go. It's still raining, but the severe threat is done. So you have the all clear in Columbia, in Winnsboro, Lexington, Aiken. You're good to go. You're good to head out and about if you need to go to church, if you're heading to do some shopping, just any chores that you need to do. We are severe free in all those locations. It's just this line and areas east of it that will continue with the severe weather threat just a little bit longer. And the Storm Prediction Center has dropped the tornado watch for several of these counties as a result of just that. So again, that's what we're dealing with at this very moment. All right, folks, what I'm going to do, we're going to keep our Facebook Live going. I'm going to take a 5-minute break to catch my breath a little bit here, but I will leave the radar picture on. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those when I come back here in a few minutes, but just going to take a quick breather, put this loop on for you, and again, we'll be back here in just a few minutes to get you an update on our severe weather situation.